A little challenged here. All right. All right, well, we're not going to trade sides again, playing musical microphones. Our wedding gown is very modern. This is a more of a modern look because of the fact that it's got the dropped waist. The brides right now are mostly looking for a fitted look through the hips. So what some people used to call like a trumpeted or a mermaid skirt, we don't necessarily use those terms right now because they don't necessarily want it to be totally fitted and then flare out at the knees, but they definitely don't necessarily care for it to stop right here at the natural waistline. It needs to go at least down to here, but usually down past their hips and show their little tush a little better. It's just what they want. So that's what this is. It's got kind of the ruching or the gathering through the bodice, and then the ruffles are totally in. Like you've seen it everywhere, and it's definitely popular with the wedding dresses. So it's a taffeta fabric, which 7 years ago no one was wearing taffeta, but this is taffeta. It's very popular right now. Still, everyone's wearing it. And the collar, so anything that's modern is usually something that is a different trend. You will not have seen it, but it might seem dated in 25 years. I mean, I got married in 1985, and I had the big puffy sleeves, and not seeing that so much anymore. But this might seem dated in 25 years, but it's definitely modern or current for right now to have an edgier look, to have like a ruffle collar, or to have ruffles in the dress somehow and have that nice sleek fitted look. Do you want to turn around and just show them your dress a little bit? So it's got a train. And you won't see as much beadwork all the time anymore, but if you'll turn back around. She just has some beaded lace applique on the dress. Another thing I didn't mention before is the traditions of the impliedness of the color of your dress is not there like it was a long time ago. So a bride will ask for an ivory dress as much as a white dress. I'd say actually it's about a third and two-thirds. So 2/3 of a brides will wear a white dress, and then at least here or in this community, and the other will wear like an ivory colored dress. A lot of times just to bring out a better tone in your skin. The more fair the skin, the girl will wear more of an ivory dress, as opposed to like a bright white dress. But this one's white. It has white beadwork on it, but we have it with silver as well. And I think Keller and I have talked, and gray is really in. So, you'll have your classic black, and black is always great. Kind of went to navy last year. Brown was the new black, and now gray is the new brown. So gray's really popular, and definitely our bridesmaids as well. So that I would say almost gray. Girls will use weird names for gray. Instead of saying gray, they'll say charcoal or gunmetal.
Gunsmoke.
Gunmetal gray. And so that's a very popular color right now.
Right. As was mentioned, most people think of a tuxedo being black. Frankly, having done it for 25 years, you get tired of black. And I think that the people do to some degree. And they're looking for something to set their groom off a little bit different. And I think the gray is a good option. As was mentioned, I couldn't get in enough brown. For a couple of years, everything was brown. And I think it was because people were looking for something other than black. Gray now, in both the light gray and the dark gray, seem to be what's coming. Now, when I say what's coming, I mean that's kind of the cutting edge. That doesn't mean we'll still do 10-to-1 black to gray. But I'm just saying that gray is an important color for those people who are trying to set themselves off. They don't want to look like every other wedding. They're going to wear gray. This has, again, the peak lapel. People often ask, what makes a tuxedo rather than just a suit? Couldn't I get a suit that's in dove gray? Or having the satin on the lapel. You'll notice this is a satin top collar, satin on the edge, and a leg stripe along the pant. Those are things that set off a tuxedo to be a tuxedo rather than just a suit. And it's important to kind of understand that because you may be asked those type of questions. What makes it a tuxedo? Okay.
Thanks. And we just have one more bridesmaid dress. She's coming out in a modern gunmetal color, charcoal. What makes this dress modern is it does have the bubbled hem, which I think was maybe popular in the 60s at some point when I was 5. And it's really popular now. So this particular dress in general is probably one of our most popular ones. On occasion, you'll get that size 22 bride who doesn't really want to wear bubbled hem, but when a bride asks what are the rules on things, we always tell them the rules are you're the bride and whatever you want is the rule. So that's kind of how it goes. So, that's just how that part works. But again, the pleating or the ruching is very popular. Anything that's going to accentuate a girl's figures, because we design in modest, we're not showing skin as the accent parts. We're showing a shape or a figure. So this is one that it can camouflage a lot. It's got these pleats here on the side. So if you're, hippie, and you're going to end up with some that are hippie, it can kind of camouflage that a little bit, but it's going to definitely accent your waistline. Sashes were really, really in. They're kind of going out, and more of a belt or a jeweled belt is kind of coming in. But we have a lot of colors, so you can kind of let the bride use her accent colors in sashes and things like that. Mm-hmm. So,
before you walk, she mentioned the idea of what are the rules. With tuxedos, it's important to explain to people that the groom should be set off from the rest of the wedding party. Quite often they'll come in and they'll say, I want 7 tuxedos all the same. And I say, well, who's the groom? So the point that I want to make is it's the groom's day too. Everyone knows who's the bride because she's wearing a dress, a bridal dress. But the groom also has an opportunity. He should shine, and you should do something to set him out apart from the rest of the wedding party. So that's just a principle. Thanks.
Do you have any questions? Yes.
Please. Okay, a different type tuxedo. So, for instance, say you put the groom in a black and put the rest of the guy in gray because that was your colors. Or perhaps you would do the watermelon vest and tie on the groom and then do a black vest and tie for everyone else. You can do a different number of buttons. For example, if you did a 2-button coat for the groom and then you did a single button coat for the others, the industry used to have it that the groom was supposed to be in a tails, the long tails and back. Really soft. People don't do tails today. They may be coming back around. It fits with the bow tie. That's all kind of fits together. The groom was to wear the tail. The groomsmen wear the tuxedo. The regular length coat is a tuxedo. But the principle is more that anything to set them off. And I think the accessory sets them off or the coat style.
Any other questions? Thank you.